Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Let's see.
You're live. You're live.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. This is Matt. A lot of you guys know me from the protests, from the video recording, now over at WVPM. And I'm interviewing a really good friend of mine from the UK. This is Shane Borrett. Shane was a participant in the live streams. He helped me with the moderation of the comment sections, and he and I would chat back and forth during the protest and kind of share information. I think he was keeping up with me on Google Maps and things. So Shane, I appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Interviewing with us. It's 11 o'clock here, 11 a.m. What time is it there? About 4?
Yeah, it's 4 p.m.
4. All right. Yeah. Shane's in the UK. Why don't you give us a little information about yourself, man? Tell us about yourself and your background and what you do over there. And
well, I'm Shane. I'm from the UK. Got a family, got a wife and 4 kids.
Nice. What do you do for work?
Part-time photographer. What's that?
You do photography, right?
Yeah, part-time photographer.
Nice. As far as the protesting and stuff over there, man, what have you guys seen? What's been going on near you, and have you guys seen any changes or results of those protests?
Not really much changes. There was I think it was a week after you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We had like one day where there was a lot of protests up and down the country, and then it just kind of died off once that had stopped. Still like little pockets here and there of mini protests, but nothing on the scale of what you guys have seen and still seeing.
Right. Did you guys have any issues there as far as violence or looting or people incidents with the cops?
Mainly in London. There was a few conflicts there. Everywhere else seemed really peaceful. I know there was a police officer thrown from a horse in London with riots.
Any injuries or anything like that? Was he okay, or?
I think it was broken ribs, but don't quote me on that.
Connection there for a second.
Yeah.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, dude.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I lost connection for a second. So when you were watching the protest over here, again, I appreciate you staying up. I know most of those were keeping you up through the night, right up until 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
Yep.
I apologize to your missus. Let her know my deepest condolences for the lost time. What did you think about what you were seeing over here from my videos and the other videos you saw on the internet and some of the stuff you and I discussed online?
Well, some of the main point that I seen was how fair the portrayal of it was. It wasn't biased either way. It was literally just the raw footage of what's happening. There was no input from yourself trying to portray the viewers to follow your own feelings and beliefs on the subject. It was literally, this is what's happening, make your own decisions. And that was the best thing for me, because there was no biased or alternative agenda. It was just that. But it was interesting.
What was it like for you to watch, I guess, considering you guys had mostly peaceful protests, to see ours kind of evolve like that?
To a degree, it was understandable. The anger and the upset and the pain, and you could hear that. But you could certainly see the troublemakers turn up. As soon as you've seen certain people turn up, like not even generalizing as a race or beliefs or the way they were dressed or anything. There was just, when there was certain people turned up, the whole atmosphere seemed to change and ignite, and then you'd see that, and then within a couple of minutes, that's when the trouble would start.
Right.
So you could just see the atmosphere change, which is quite strange because atmosphere isn't normally a feeling.
Were our protests covered heavily by your guys' news media outlets?
Yeah, there were, but it wasn't. Again, it was mainstream media. I know this makes me sound like a tinfoil hat, but it was the way they were. Because I was watching the live streams and I was seeing what was really happening, and then you watch the news and they're just showing windows going through and places being lit on fire and everything else, and it's not portraying the whole picture. It was covered quite heavily. Obviously, it was global news. Yeah.
Did you keep up with any other towns or cities in particular outside of what I was covering? Or
it was mainly yours, especially during that week or 10 days or whatever it was of really intense protests in Asheville. But since then, I've been watching what's been going on in Seattle and
Yeah.
Minneapolis. There's a few, one in Texas that I've been following as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just been.
What did you guys? What was the general opinion, I guess, from yourself for one, and then people that you know in your area about what happened in Seattle with the CHOP Chaz zone and seeing those people take over that big chunk of city for 2 weeks? How did you guys feel about that, and what was the discussions like?
Well, obviously, we're in the midst of COVID, so the discussions have been very few and far between because
Mm-hmm.
you're not really having much interaction with anyone. But my own views, it was kind of mixed because I can understand the upset and them wanting their own space and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you've got the businesses and people living there and stuff. They've just kind of almost had their street, their block, just taken over, and it was very very conflicting, especially once like you got the shootings and stuff and the crime that did happen within the area. But then there was still that anti-police. They weren't allowing the police in to deal with it.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating to watch, especially being this far away.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had anything like that happen?
No.
Around you in your area? No.
No, we had the Occupy situation a few years ago, which
Mhm.
obviously you guys did as well, where people just set up tents, but that was it. They didn't close an area off or anything like that.
Right. When you were watching the videos, some of the things you were hearing and seeing people say, what did you think about the difference in opinions? Is it like that over there too? The extremes, one way or the other?
Yeah, to some degree, you do get. Obviously, you got the far right and the far left, as most political two-party systems do have.
Right.
But I think they're a lot more vocal about it in your streams than they are over here.
Mm-hmm.
But on the same hand, someone could say something in your stream and they be from California.
Yeah.
And they're as far away from you as I am from you now. So
yeah, true. Yeah, it's different for sure when you go through and you read and you see so many different opinions. And I'm sure for you seeing it live, there's so many comments coming in so fast. It's probably like, whoa.
It was a lot to process.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, especially at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
How much caffeine do you think you consume that week?
Quite a lot. I wouldn't like to measure it. Yeah, unhealthy amount.
You mentioned COVID earlier. What is that situation like over there for you guys? How is your government responding? What are you seeing that's working, not working? Are you guys in a particular phase? Are you wide open yet? How's that stuff going over there?
Well, my city's just been locked down again. I missed the lockdown border by 3 streets.
Right.
But my actual city has just been locked down again, potentially for 2 weeks, but it could be a lot longer. A lot of the restaurants and hospitality industry, they're just slowly starting to reopen. Mm-hmm. Ours was March the 20th, we went into lockdown. So it's been a very long time.
Yeah.
Me, myself, I've got underlying health conditions, so I've been taking it a lot more seriously. Mm-hmm. So I've literally not seen anyone for months. But again, we've had the people that have just been doing what they want, and which doesn't help the situation. Beaches have been packed, and they're just doing what they want. But I personally feel that the government needs to grow a backbone. They're like, okay, if you want to wear a mask, then wear a mask, but we're not making it mandatory. But they do help, and it's like, well, just grow some and tell everyone they've got to wear a mask if that's what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems a little shaky from everybody. As far as what to do, what not to do, what's an infringement on somebody's daily rights and things like that. So I've heard a lot of those discussions. What are you seeing, I guess, in your area? What specific area are you from over there?
I'm from Leicester, which is virtually bang in the middle of England. Okay.
Your general community, are people pretty receptive to wearing masks, or is it kind of split 50-50?
Yeah, like localized to me, they are very, like the shops and that, a lot of them wearing masks, and a lot of the shops have got like sanitizing stations outside, so you anti-back your hands and stuff before you go in.
Right. What are your lockdowns like? Are they restaurants and everything, curbside delivery only, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, everything done. Any door-to-door delivery, they'll leave it at your door, ring your bell, and then stand at the end of your driveway. Okay. So that you're keeping that social distance. But
sure
yeah,
you
it's a very interesting time.
Are you trying to get out and do any of your photography during all this, or are you staying pretty much indoors?
I'm trying to stay indoors as much as possible because obviously I'm being at high risk. But I have been doing a lot of product photography.
Okay.
Which obviously is something I can do from home.
Yeah.
But still keep up with it.
What about your hospital situations? You guys going overboard with hospitals? Are they full?
Not as much as we was expected to be. We did turn the O2 Arena, which is a big stadium arena in London. We did turn that into a hospital using the army and stuff like that to man that, and a couple of other arenas around the country. We made makeshift hospitals, but they were never used or used to their full capacity.
Okay.
The main thing in my city that has been used to their capacity is the extended morgues that we made. So we had a lot of fatalities.
Yeah, our numbers are definitely on the rise too. Are they giving you guys you said 2 weeks for the lockdown?
A minimum of 2 weeks, yeah.
Minimum. And then what's the plan? What do they do after the lockdown over? Are they doing phases like we are, or?
Yeah, they'll slowly start reintroducing things. You can meet like one person from one other household, and then, but still maintain you socially distanced. A lot of the pubs and stuff around here, the bars, they're asking for ID when you go in, and you can only sit with people from your own household.
Oh wow!
So
they're trying to keep you contained.
Yeah, keep you in your own bubble, so there's less chance of cross contamination and.
Right. Is everything like 50% capacity, like it is here?
Yeah, or maybe even less than that in some places.
Yeah, and you guys have soccer back, right? You guys do have some of your sports back. You have soccer. I saw a couple of games on TV yesterday. What's it like to at least have soccer back, to be able to watch that?
I don't really follow soccer that much, but a lot of people it's a bit of normality back. I'm just glad to have NASCAR back, to be honest.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people are tuning into NASCAR with some of the changes they've made.
But again, even that, it's a different situation because you've got no crowd atmosphere.
Yeah, it's just cars and pit crews. Yeah. Does it change watching the races for you to see the sporting events, soccer and NASCAR, with no people in the stands?
Yeah, it does. It's a lot. It's almost more like watching a video game because you haven't got the atmosphere there.
Right.
You have on live sports.
Yeah, I know some of the soccer teams and places have talked about pumping crowd noise in through speakers, and I just feel like that's just going to feel weird.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Do you feel like anything else is going to happen over there with protesting or people continuing to move to have changes in their government system? Is that something that's also talked about, or is it more so just Black Lives Matter? Are they actually working to change anything in your government also?
Not as far as I'm aware. There's when there's big Black Lives Matter marches and protests and movements and that over the pond to you guys, we tend to follow suit. But I'm probably going to get slated for this comment now, but I don't feel that the level of racism systemically within the UK is anywhere near as bad as over in America. So it's kind of, if the problem's not as bad, then the reaction's not going to be as bad.
Right. But yeah, I understand. It's going to rise to the level necessary. You guys don't typically have as much police involvement, I guess, with the citizens as much as we do. Do you feel like that? And maybe that part of that, and also not having firearms.
The firearms one is a main one because our police. I mean, I agree with the police should have firearms. Especially, I mean, there was a shooting in London today, and we've got some of the strictest gun laws. And our police can't defend themselves, but they are trained not to just reach for a weapon. They are taught to de-escalate and use non-lethal before they use lethal. Because obviously we still do have armed response police officers, like specialised, almost like SWAT, to deal with them situations, because you take away the guns from the good guys and the only people left from the bad guys.
Right.
So you do need good guys with guns to deal with that. But yeah, They are different. We still get the like stop and searches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in areas of London, they are very predominantly towards the black community.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a rising knife culture.
Yeah, I think you and I have talked about that a little bit. Some of
Yeah.
the knife crimes rising, and some of the laws that actually protect the person attacking versus the person defending themselves. So,
Yeah.
Are they saying doing anything about knife culture?
Well, it's strange because there was the shop literally down the bottom of my road. There was a stabbing there last year.
Mm-hmm.
A young guy got caught shoplifting and stabbed the shop manager. And his court case was yesterday, and he got a 18-month probation and 3 months on electronic house arrest.
Oh wow!
And that was his punishment.
Did the individual that he assaulted pass away, or is he okay?
No, he did make it. He needed a blood transfusion, and he's obviously been left with long-term psychological issues.
Mm-hmm.
But there's almost no punishment for it.
Yeah.
So until there is, it's just going to rise.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys have a very different system than we do in a lot of ways, as far as some ways some things are handled with the aggression and violence. So it's interesting to hear that stuff, because you think a lot of people think we're a lot alike, but our court systems and judicial systems and police systems are very different. A lot of our weapon laws are very different. So the crime is different. And like you said, the response to things is going to be different because you may not have the same level of problem that we have over here. So it's definitely interesting to hear that, man. What do you think about everything? How do you feel with the virus and the protesting, and now you guys are seeing our election stuff going on, and what is it like to turn the TV on and get on social media over there and not only have all of the stuff going on in your area, but then to see all of our stuff too? What is that like? Is it overwhelming?
I'm ready for 2020 to be over.
I think that's the sentiment a lot of people have, man.
Yeah, it's been one hell of a year, and we're only halfway through it.
Yeah. Is it almost to the point where you just can't keep up with it anymore?
It is. I mean, every time you open social media or you turn on the TV, it's almost like, oh, what's next in this episode? You couldn't write it. I mean, you've now got the bubonic plague and stuff coming out of China again. It's like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much going on. I forgot there was the bubonic plague. I saw the Senate pass some rulings this morning against Donald Trump. So I haven't even caught up on the news yet, and it's almost noon. It's like the news between 8 and noon has already changed. I got to re-catch up on everything. So I can't imagine what you guys are taking in.
Yeah,
with your local stuff and our stuff. So
all eyes are on America at the minute, though.
Yeah, it's kind of the feeling. It feels like everybody's kind of watching us. It seems like worldwide, most of the COVID stuff is leveled out, but for us, it's obviously still a major problem. A lot of states are recording their record numbers on a day-by-day basis. What is that like to see us still having issues, and then you guys leveled out, and now you're back in lockdown? What was that like to kind of say, okay, maybe this isn't over yet? Did you feel optimism at any point that was kind of taken away? Or
Yeah, once they started relaxing the rules and such, and then they snatched that away, it's almost a false sense of hope, and it does grind you down. It's like, when is this finally going to be over, and I can actually go and see my mom or hug my nieces and nephews and just get back to normality.
Yeah. What do you feel like your time frame is looking like over there? Do you guys have estimates anymore? Are you kind of like we are, and you're just winging it day by day?
Just winging it day by day. The schools are getting stuff in place because we've broken up for the summer holidays now. The schools are getting stuff in place, so hopefully they go back August, beginning of September time. But even in the emails, the schools are not looking hopeful that it's going to return.
Are they offering you guys different options for return?
At the minute, it's looking like it's mainly for key workers, children. So almost like a glorified babysitting service, so that the key workers can go out to work without worrying about childcare.
Yeah. What about you personally? How do you feel about it? Would you rather yours stay at home or are you going to plan on sending them back to school or what?
It depends completely on the situation at the time. If the numbers are falling and they're falling dramatically, then yeah, my kids will go. But I need to put my own health before. It sounds selfish, but mine is a lung condition. So with a virus that attacks the lungs and the breathing, I've got to look out for myself before anything else. So, but yeah, all being well, they'll be going back to school August, September time.
And you guys finished out the year with everything being online? Yeah. How did your kids like that? I know my daughter was in preschool, so she kind of got
for their age group. They didn't do much. There were no like online classes. It was more like just submitting and receiving work through online portals and stuff. Yeah, they seem to enjoy it. One of my daughters, she's a dancer, so all her dance classes and that, they're doing that all on Zoom, and she's really enjoying that. And
nice, that's creative.
Yeah, that's
creative. I know they allowed some of our dance studios to open back up. The kids were wearing masks the whole time, so that's interesting that they were doing it through Zoom. Do they have like recitals and stuff, or are they just practicing right now?
Yeah, she does. She does dance shows and competitions and exams. So she's been doing it for a long, long time. I mean, I take my hat off to the dance school that she's at, because there's nothing even said by the government yet on when dance schools can open over here. So they're just improvising and doing what they can to give the kids a bit of normality. And
yeah, that seems to be the way. The method of the world right now is creativity. You know, and the technology. You know, you saw it with Facebook Live. This meeting, you know, is being conducted virtually. You know, you're in a 5-hour away time zone, 4-hour away time zone, and we're able to chit chat. I think the technology is so critical with all this stuff right now. You know, being able to have homeschool education, people working from home. I work from home right now.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel like a lot of this stuff should stay around? Maybe some of this working from home
I do.
And extending that and maybe making that part of the workday, because it seems like it's made a lot of families better off.
I agree with the working from home premise. And a lot of people, they're shaving like 2 hours off their day because they're not commuting anywhere. So they're getting in, they're more energized. They've probably had an extra half hour in bed, or just actually had a chance to have a cup of coffee before they get to work. And then their home life is benefiting from it as well, because they're getting to spend more time with their family. And I don't really see any flaws in the system. It's all benefits from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are taking notice to the effectiveness of this change of how we work and things like that. So I'm hoping that we'll see. I like working from home, but I'm going to have to go back to work at some point. So it'll be interesting to see, especially with school and stuff, man. That's pretty much it, man. I really just want to say how much I appreciate you stepping in and the help you provided during the live streams. I can't thank you enough. It was so crazy to see some of the different places that were checking in. I don't know where you saw people from, but different states, different countries. I saw South Korea, I think, at one point.
Yeah, all over the world, mate.
And then you and I have some other friends over in your area that were also watching and participating. So it was interesting to see the stretch and how much that reached. And I had people ask me, they're like, "Hey, this guy from UK is commenting on all your stuff. Is he legit?" I was like, "Yes." Like, you know, so I do appreciate that so much. I want to thank you for your time, taking time out of your day to do this interview.
No worries.
I absolutely appreciate it. Do you have anything you want to say? Anything you want to?
Just keep up the good work, dude. And if anything else goes off, get that camera out.
Oh, I will, man. I'm down there every day. I feel like for at least an hour now. I'm just kind of checking things out. So if anything comes up, I'll definitely be there for sure.
Yep. Well, drop me a message and I'll be in the comments.
Shane, thank you so much for joining us, man. I appreciate everything. And I will be in touch with you. Thank you so much.
Nice one. See you in a bit, mate.